Hi, we're going to talk about your major writing assignment. I want to pass on a few thoughts and ideas to you about what to do. All right, first off, welcome to the module. I'm making a special introduction to this module because it's a very important part of the course and because it represents a large portion of your grade. Failure to complete this assignment properly can negatively impact your final grade. Okay, so this module is about your major writing assignment and contains the basic information you'll need to complete your biographical essay. You can find the information you will need by clicking on the links in this module, but I think you may benefit from the following comments. First, your task is to select a significant and relevant historical figure from this period in American history that we're studying, right? 1492 to 1877. And to produce a 2.5, 2.5 to 3 page biographical essay on that person. You can write about anybody you want to, but I have to approve your choice. I will provide a list of people that you can look at, but you're not bound by the list. Since this course begins with the discovery of the New World, you can choose about anybody connected to that discovery. So for specifics as to length and so on, please refer to the link provided in this module. You'll see that link when you look through it. I want to encourage you to write about someone you find interesting, right? Someone you find intriguing or fascinating. Choosing the person that you want to write about is a vital part of the assignment. Prior to your selection, you might want to consider a field of study that interests you. For example, do your interests lean, for example, toward art, science, literature, politics, war? That should give you a clue as to who to write about. So again, if you prefer, you can look at the list of names I provided. Or you can peruse the book itself, the textbook, and see, if someone catches your eye that way. However, whoever you select, let it be your choice. This is not a long paper to write, and I want it to be your own work. There are a few things that you want to avoid. Of course, number one is plagiarism. Plagiarism is just very simply stealing someone else's work without giving them credit. It's a serious offense. It will yield an automatic 0 for your paper if I detect it. And generally speaking, plagiarism is very easy to spot. I've got several programs that I use that can spot plagiarism, but usually it's kind of like a big freight train coming down a track. It's not hard to miss. So if you do that, do it at your own risk because it will end up with a 0. One important requirement is that you use what we call bona fide academic sources. Now, you're required to find and use reference sources or reference works from Sowella's library, right? As I was saying, our collection of books in the Sowella Library is kind of small, but we have a very large collection of electronic sources, electronic databases of information, and that's where you're going to need to go. I know many of you taking an online course may not be near the campus, so you will have to use Sowella's library and get into their electronic database, and the librarians will help you do that. Okay. So you can use the public library if you want to. It's okay, but there's a certain risk in that. I really want you to use a legitimate academic source for your material in writing the paper. Again, talk to the librarian, or you can email me and I'll give you further information if you want to. Just remember this, that I will deduct points for unqualified source material. Now, students are often tempted to just use Google indiscriminately. For example, Wikipedia. Wikipedia is great. I love Wikipedia. I use Wikipedia. It's great, but you don't use it to cite as a source for your material. Okay, you don't do that, and that's not good. There are reasons for that. I won't go into it right now. All right, there are legitimate sites on the internet. I say, if you're going to do it, you tread very carefully, because if I find something that's not a legitimate site, not good academic site, I will deduct points for that. So, lastly, I have a few useful tips for you. First, when writing about the past, use the past tense. Okay, it looked very odd when you use the present tense about the past. So don't do that. So proper use of verb tenses is a requirement. I will deduct points for using the wrong verb tense. A key element in good writing, to good writing is actually to keep it simple. The best sentence is one really with the fewest words. Express your ideas with clarity. What you want to do is avoid flowery speech, or as they used to say in the old days, highfalutin words. Avoid big words. Use the simplest and the least number of words to express yourself. That's actually good writing. And use paragraphs. I hear some people don't use paragraphs properly. Again, I will take off points for spelling and serious grammatical mistakes. Make sure of your facts, okay? If I see something grossly wrong, a fact that's just wrong, if you say something, I will take off points. So now, I really enjoy when students include images, pictures in their paper. I like that. But do remember that when you include an image, that doesn't really take the, doesn't take the place of text, right? Right? You can't just put a big picture in there and then pretend that takes up, that's for words. It doesn't work like that, okay? The minimum requirement is 2.5 pages of written material. So I will penalize you for going under. I don't expect you to have footnotes for your sources. This is a very informal paper, but list the sources that you use to write your paper. And be sure to include the source materials that you used in the same document, in the same file. Don't send it as a separate file, okay? And you will need a minimum of 3 sources. By the way, when you write your paper and you go to the library's website, you'll notice there are a lot of streaming videos that you can look at. You could use a streaming video as a source, right? A documentary video. So don't forget you can do that. You can use, there are encyclopedias in the electronic database in the library. Use that. You can use those, okay? So use a variety of sources. You can use journal articles. You can use newspaper articles. There are all sorts of things. And there are e-books in electronic books as well in the library. So I don't just expect you to do it, I really demand that you use those. All right, now, not all of the information you need to write your essay is included in this video presentation, so be sure to read over the requirements and specifications in the entire module. All right, so thanks for listening, good luck, and I look forward to reading your paper.